What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am coming to you on an unseasonably cold, rainy, and windy spring day here in Southern California. But no matter, because I have an all-wheel drive Mazda CX-30 2.5 S with Select package. And at $26,675, this might be the best value in subcompact crossover SUVs that you can buy in 2023. So today what I'm going to do is review this vehicle for you. We're going to have a look at the styling, we're going to have a look at the engine and the transmission, we'll measure out the cargo space, we'll have a look at the passenger room, and we'll look at the convenience and safety features. And of course, if some of that sounds good and some of it sounds bad, check the description below for timestamps. So first and foremost, we'll talk about the styling because I feel that that is a very important deciding factor for people who buy these types of tiny SUVs. And I think that the CX-30 is certainly one of, if not the best looking car in its class. It uses Mazda's Kodo design language, which, I don't know, gives the car flowing lines or something, makes it kind of look like a fish going through the ocean. I really don't know what they mean. These design language things from auto manufacturers are always kind of a strange concept to me, but the bottom line is I do really like how this car looks. I like the sort of smooth angles on it. I like the way the lights are. I like the way that the rear turn signals fade in and out when you have the turn signal on. I think that always looks really nice. And I think in general, this is really a good looking car, and it does look like what it is, a small, stylish crossover SUV that's still somewhat practical. The front grille gives the modern look of having a very large front grille without looking offensive or ostentatious. And overall, I think it is a very nice styling presentation on Mazda's part, as it is, quite frankly, with most of their cars right now. Maybe I shouldn't poo-poo their Kodo design language quite so much, because I think pretty much every car in the Mazda lineup looks good at this point. Now we'll move on to the engine and the transmission, and it's very fair to say that Mazda certainly brings the zoom to the subcompact SUV segment with the CX-30. This has the base 2.5 liter engine, which gives you 191 horsepower and 186 torque. That is a little bit more power, it should be noted, than the upgraded engine in the Subaru Crosstrek. The 2.5 liter engine in their car is optional and only has 182 horsepower. But if you really want more power, the CX-30 is available with a turbo 2.5 liter engine with 250 horsepower, which is a very, very good performer. So if you have a need for speed, you do have that option on this particular car. 6-speed automatics or standard transmissions on both of them. It interfaces well with the Mazda's all-wheel drive system, and even though it kind of sounds like it's a little behind the times, it's only got 6 gears as opposed to some competitors having 8 gears or 10 gears or CVTs or whatever. In my fuel economy testing, which I've done on a couple of Mazdas with this engine and transmission, including this one, I find that the transmission is actually quite efficient and it also drives very well. So even though on paper it doesn't look quite as impressive as some of its competitors in the transmission department, it performs just fine on the road and in the real world. Now it's time to measure out the cargo area in the CX-30, and we will start with the length from the rear of the cargo area to the bottom of the back seat with the seat up, and that will give you 2 feet and 6 inches. The width of the cargo area at its widest point, kind of in between those 2 divots at the back of it, is 3 feet and 10 inches. The width of the cargo area at the narrowest point, allegedly in between the wheel wells, but they just kind of made it one big kind of blocky area, is 3 feet and 3 inches. The length of the cargo area from the rear of the cargo area to the back of that front seat with the second row seat folded flat, 5 feet even, approximately 5 feet even. It kind of does depend on where you have that seat set. It's kind of in a mid position right now, so I'll say approximately. And it should be noted that you do get almost a flat load floor in the CX-30, so that's pretty good with the back seat folded down. And the height of the cargo area at the opening right there at the rear of the cargo area is going to be 2 feet and 5 inches. And for whatever it's worth, you do get a little bit more height once you're inside of the cargo area, so the absolute maximum height is 2 feet and 9 inches. And if you need to lift something into the rear of your CX-30, you will need to lift it up 2 feet and 5 inches to get it into the cargo area. Just for fun, this is the Mazda official cargo mat. The owner of this car must have added that after they bought it because it wasn't on the Monroney label. And underneath here, we do have a temporary use spare tire and some tools, so Mazda does give us that. Nice touch for the relatively small cargo area of the CX-30. Now we're gonna have a look at the passenger space, and for this measurement, I use myself. I'm 6'5", so let's see if I can sit behind myself in a Mazda CX-30. Okay, so as ever with modern Mazda products, this is kind of the one weak point for me. I can sit in the front just fine, my knees are not touching and I have enough headroom, but behind myself, and again, I am 6'5", so this is a bit of an extreme test, but I just really don't quite have enough room to fit. It's ironic because I do have air vents. There's my seat in my regular driving position. So yeah, basically nobody's gonna be sitting behind me. So yeah, the back seat room is a little bit of a bummer in the CX-30, but if your people are not as tall as I am, it might work for you. Now we're gonna move on to the convenience features in this vehicle, and that is where the value proposition really shines against a lot of its competitors. So this is the CX-30 2.5 S with the Select package, which is one level up from the base. Now the Select package does add $2,450 to the base model, but you do get at least $2,450 worth of equipment for that price. So for the Select package, you get 18-inch alloy wheels, you get the leatherette trimmed seats, which are very nice. You could lie to someone and tell them it's leather and they'd probably believe you unless they are a very discerning individual. You have the rear privacy glass, that's just tinted windows on the back windows. Leather wrap shift knob and steering wheel, which the leather on the steering wheel is a very nice grain of leather. It feels great in the hand. You have the rear cross traffic alert and the blind spot monitoring. So that gives you the little lights on the mirrors that light up when there's a car in your blind spot. And when you put the vehicle in reverse, it'll beep at you if there's a car coming sideways there. You get a rear armrest in the rear seat for your backseat passengers. The Mazda advanced keyless entry, so you can just walk up to the car, put your hand in the handle, open the door. If you walk away from it, it'll lock itself as long as you have the key on you. And of course, push button start. You get the side mirrors with the turn lamps. That's the integrated turn signals in the rear view mirrors. Rear air conditioning vents, that's definitely a notable feature for a vehicle of this size, and the dual zone automatic climate control, another notable feature for a vehicle of this size. And all of that, including the destination charge, brings the MSRP on this car to $26,675. And that also includes standard exterior features on the 2.5 S, including the LED headlights, LED taillights, LED daytime running lights, automatic headlights, and automatic windshield wipers. This car includes rain sensing windshield wipers as standard. That's a really cool feature to see on a vehicle of this low of an MSRP. You also get the roof rails, and you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You do have to plug them both in, but it does come standard on the car. It should be noted that you do not have a standard navigation system, but it is possible, if you would like to purchase a navigation SD card from your local Mazda dealer, then it is possible to equip the vehicle with navigation. That's a cool feature as well if you'd prefer to have a factory navigation system built in as opposed to just using the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto. You do have that option even on the lower trim levels of the CX-30. What you see the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto through is what Mazda claims to be an 8.8-inch color center display. Quite frankly, to me, the screen just doesn't look that big. I drove a Mazda 3 last year that had the same screen. Somehow that doesn't look like 8.8 inches. Not that anybody's ever lied about having anything that was at least 8 inches long, But the screen does work well. It should be noted that it's not a touch screen. You have to use the knob to interface with it. You kind of turn it and you have the little buttons on the side for shortcuts. I find that it works well. You know, it's kind of a copy of BMW's iDrive system, which even BMW is moving away from at this point. If you're used to a touchscreen on the car, this is going to be a little bit of a learning experience for you to get used to it, but it's not hard to use. It's something that shouldn't prevent you from at least looking at this car and giving it a chance. And it also comes standard with carpeted floor mats. I mean, you don't get those for free on a Porsche 911 GT3, and those are like 300 grand, so that's good value. Now we'll move on to the safety features. We already mentioned the blind spot monitoring and the rear cross traffic alert with the Select package. We also get the Mazda Smart Brake support as standard. That is the emergency braking system to help avoid a frontal collision. You have lane keeping assist, lane departure warning system, and the Mazda radar cruise control. I have previously made a video showing how to use the Mazda radar cruise control, so I'll put a link to that in the description. You can check it out if you own one of these cars, show you how to use that feature. The vehicle also includes driver attention alert. So if it thinks you're falling asleep, it will alert you. And I will mention I like the system in this car because it's not overly intrusive. And then you have all of the standard federally mandated dynamic stability control, traction control, anti-lock brakes, all the airbags. So you do get a comprehensive suite of state-of-the-art active and passive safety features in the Mazda CX-30, even for the low price of $26,675. Thank you so much for watching my review of this Mazda CX-30 Select package. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, and have a great day. Bye-bye.